Hello. So, in my tutorial for today, I'm gonna consider the differences between the opinion essays and the discussion essays. This was requested by a student a while back, and I thought it's something I should have a look at. Now, if you remember the videos from previous days, we were looking at the to what extent essay question and the structure. So video number 1 was looking at the structure. Video 2 was going through the process of how you might write such an essay in real time. So to just remind ourselves of what that is. So, as I suggested, a typical 4-paragraph essay, that's the structure in general, and the structure sentence by sentence was basically for the introduction. We paraphrase the question, which is what we basically do for every question type. You paraphrase the question, restate the topic. Sentence 2, what do you think? Because it says, to what extent, so it's asking for your opinion. Then sentence number 3, an outline, what's your main idea, what are you going to say? And then for your body, your topic sentence, explain it, example, make a concession despite the fact, etc., or you can reinforce the example. The same for paragraph number 2, and in conclusion you restate the question, the topic, your 2 main ideas, and you can make a suggestion, a recommendation if you've got time, if you can think of anything, etc. So what's the difference? Well, as you'll see when we take a look at it in a moment, the structure of it's pretty similar, as in, they typically have 4 paragraphs. So, most people writing a 4-paragraph essay do about 12 sentences, 12, 13, 14 sentences, just under 300 words, say between 250 and 300 words. The difference is really is in the to what extent. You don't have to look at both sides of the argument. You only need to say if you agree or not. And then in paragraph 2 and 3, give reasons why you do so. So it's entirely subjective. You say, I agree with the statement because, and also for this reason, etc. However, for the discussion essay, and for the example here, now some might just say discuss both views, but for this one it says discuss both views and give your opinion. So obviously we need to look at both. So the first essay type is subjective, while the second is more objective. So the difference really in any piece of writing, we have to consider audience and purpose. Audience, who we are writing for. Now that tells you how formal or informal, what should be the register or kind of tone. However, we know that, we're writing an academic essay, so the tone needs to be reasonably formal, no contractions, use of passive, etc. So, but the purpose though for an opinion, to what extent, is you state what your opinion, I agree, and you prove it. A discussion essay, the purpose is to reach an opinion after looking at both sides of the argument. So the discussion essay, really, it's an inversion, as in to what extent you put your opinion in the introduction. In a discuss both views, it comes at the end. Having considered both views, my opinion is blah, blah, blah. And that's the difference. So if we take a look at a structure, which we might use. So introduction 1, as with all essays, we have to paraphrase the question and or state what the views are. Sentence 2, what are you planning to say? What's your 2 main ideas? Then in your body, you state your viewpoint, discuss it, explain it, think of an example or make up an example, as I've said, because nobody is going to check it. Examiner does not have time to Google your examples and see if they are true or not. And then sentence 4, conclusion or extend the example. It's the same for paragraph 2, or 3. In conclusion, you summarize, restate your main ideas, and then you express your opinion. So, if we compare them, let me just get this open. So this is the to what extent. So in that one, you paraphrase, state your opinion, you give an outline. In the discuss both views, you paraphrase, state both views. You briefly mention your 2 main ideas, and then in your body paragraph, main idea, explain, example, and option. So this is pretty similar in terms of the body paragraphs. Now let's have a look at an example then, and I'll show you how this works. Now this is a very common question. You've probably seen this before. I'll just italicize it, make it in bolds. You can see it. Computers are being used more and more in education these days. Some people say that this is a positive trend, others argue it's a negative trend, etc. Discuss both views and state your opinion. As every essay says, 250 words, reasons and examples, etc. So let's look at the introduction then. So, in the modern classroom, technological devices such as computers are being increasingly utilized. Okay. Some argue that this is a positive trend, or others believe it is a negative one. So, now my 2 main ideas. This essay will consider the ease of access to information, view number 1, and consider how an over-reliance may harm students' critical thinking abilities, which we'll find there. So, it cannot be argued that computers and the internet have revolutionized the learning process. So that's my main idea. Explain it. Instead of trawling through books in a university library, the first port of call for students seeking information is now the internet. So you briefly mention your view, explain it, expand, give an example. Now, actually, this is not a made-up example. It's a real one. For example, the 2 main academic search engines, Google Scholar and Web of Knowledge, will, in a matter of seconds, provide the student with a comprehensive list of books and journal articles to consult. This is of obvious and substantial benefit to the student, who often has a limited amount of time to find and read material pertaining to their subject. So in terms of the structure, that's not bad. So I paraphrased the question, state both views, thesis, what's your 2 main ideas, and then state my first view. The internet's great, explain it, you can access more information. Example, Google Scholar, you can find out all these different things. Conclusion, Therefore, what did I say? This is this is of obvious and substantial benefit to the student. Okay, so that's not bad. Now the next view, the opposite view, some people believe that computer use is going to lead to some kind of a negative effect or consequence. So what I'm saying here is that if you rely on this stuff, it may harm your critical thinking abilities. So let's see. However, although this access to information is convenient, it may well affect a student's critical thinking and analytical skills. Okay, that's my main idea. Explain it, expand it. Many teachers would argue that students today tend to accept what they read online as the truth and use references from the internet in the university coursework. Now, I do know that this is, I mean, the survey example is an imaginary one, but the example is actually a true one. You wouldn't believe, or maybe you would, the number of students who think that Wikipedia is a suitable academic source of information when writing an essay. Maybe not. So, for example, a recent survey by the UK National Union of Teachers, 80% of teachers had experience of students quoting Wikipedia as a reliable source. Explain, this would suggest that although students have access to more information than ever before, which is what I was talking about there, they do not seem to have the ability to view it objectively and critically. Really? What surprise. So, to conclude, if we go back to the structure, so as you've seen, you paraphrase your thesis, what's the view, discuss, explain, example, a conclusion, the same. What we need then is to give a summary, restate your main idea, and then the difference between the two essays, we express our opinion here. Whereas in the to what extent, we express our opinion both in the introduction and we restate it in the conclusion. So let's go back to the essay. Let's see. So, in conclusion, an increasing reliance on technology in education has certainly made the student's academic life easier. However, this may well be at the expense of academic rigor and objective analysis. Taking both sides into consideration, I believe technology in the form of computers and the internet has had a positive effect on the process of learning, despite the fact that some students may need additional training in how to choose and assess information available online. Now, one other thing I want to point out is the cohesion, the coherence part, how the paragraphs refer back to, so there's a clear position coming all the way through the essay. I mentioned this before in the descriptors. Clear overall progression, paragraphing, sequences, information, ideas. A clear position all the way throughout the response. So in the essay, you can see that I'm constantly referring back to the previous ideas. So let's just have a look at this again. I'll leave it here on full screen. I'll put the files on my blog so you can copy those later. So the question once again, computers are being used more and more. Some say it's good, some say it's bad, right? So computers are being used. It's positive. Others say it's not. With two main ideas: ease of access of information. This paragraph may harm students' critical thinking abilities. So, it cannot be argued computers and the internet have revolutionized the process of learning. Instead of reading books, students now go to the internet first. An example of Google Scholar, in a matter of seconds, provide the student with a comprehensive list of books and articles. This is obviously good. It's a benefit, which I mention here at the end. However, although this access to information is convenient, so I'm linking back, it may well affect a student's critical thinking and analytical skills. Okay, it's again a clear position throughout the response. Many teachers would argue students tend to accept what they read online as the truth, blah blah blah. A survey by the NUT, Wikipedia, this would suggest that although, linking back, students have access to more information than ever before, again this is what the criteria is calling for, about a clear position throughout the response. They do not seem to have the ability to view it objectively and critically. So, in conclusion, main idea, one viewpoint. Again, it's made the student's academic life easier. This may well be at the expense of rigor and objective analysis. Taking both sides, my opinion, I believe it's had a positive effect, despite the fact that some students may need a bit of training in how to assess the information available online. So if we take a look at the space exploration essay, which we had a look at a couple of days back. Here we go. So as we've, I won't say much about it because I did it before. I'll just leave it on screen for a second or two so you can see. But you will see though that in this essay, my opinion is in the introduction. I totally agree. Main idea 1, main idea 2, and then my opinion is expressed once again in the conclusion. So that's basically the difference between the two. In one, you have your opinion at the in the introduction. The second one, you have your opinion at the end, having considered both of the viewpoints. So for the opinion essay, you basically say, I think this, and you tell me reasons why. In the discussion one, you say, well, here's one view, here's a second view. If we take both these views, my opinion is this. So that's it, that's the difference. Essentially, as I say, I'll put these on my blog. If you don't have the address, or even if you do, I'm going to put it again, prepareielts.com, and you'll find it there. I'll put these two and links to all these bits and pieces. So that's it. If you have any ideas, suggestions for any tutorials you'd like me to do, if you send me some essays, you can write to me at Kevin at prepareielts.com. Okay, I'll see you later.